us through the numbers first. A lot of this is looking pretty encouraging, especially coming on the heels of that GDP report.
Yes, so Amazon came out with some metrics today. It's Amazon, so it didn't tell us that much in terms of the numbers, but did say it signed up 10 million new Prime members during the holiday season so far. Sales through its app doubled in the holiday season, and nearly 60% of people who bought stuff on Amazon shopped on mobile. And according to Channel Advisor, if you look at all of web sales from November 27 to December 21st, we saw an increase of about 14%. That's in line with the 16% increase forecast by ComScore. And I mean, pretty much any increase is going to be a record, because we have seen records year after year, and we've seen this incremental growth overall in online.
So there was apparently a lot of promotion that went around this, and it helped encourage people to go online and shop. One of my questions, Craig, is that was it promotion plus discounts, or just the promotions themselves that did the trick?
Well, first of all, there's been a lot of pent-up demand in some categories. So consumer electronics was very strong, and obviously promotions help boost that. But on the other hand, you go to apparel, and it's been promotional all season long, right, and yet it still had a miserable season. So it's really the underlying secular demand for different categories of products. It's a very mixed bag out there.
What is it that you think really attracts people to specific products now? I mean, electronics are a good example. You kind of need them in today's day and age, and so there could be some pent-up demand with people wanting that new device. But when it comes to apparel, you know, why would you buy something? I mean, isn't well, that one of the big questions here? This
is one of the problems with apparel. You go back a couple generations, and apparel took 20% of the American household budget. Then over the years, that went to 15%, 10%. Wow. And it's 5% as of 2000. Now it's only 2.9%. So no wonder apparel makers and retailers.
I don't know. Sometimes I look at my closet, Corey Johnson, and I think, you know, it should be 1% of my budget. I mean, you wonder to a certain extent if Americans are just saying to themselves, I've got enough.
Well, and you wonder at what point, apparel is one of the fastest growing categories for Amazon and for online marketers as well. I wonder, you know, let me put the question to Craig. I mean, at what point, and are we starting to see the effect of Amazon on the bricks and mortar retailers, where they're starting to get into the territory the bricks and mortar guys have had to themselves for the last decade or so, even though Amazon's taken on lots of other categories?
Well, apparel is one of the strongest sectors for Amazon. But on the other hand, you have virtually every apparel retailer has a dynamic online presence. You know, some years ago they didn't.
This year seems to be the tipping point for that, I would say, in fact. I mean, when you say in terms of the apparel retailers really being more aggressive about being online and leveraging the fact that they don't need a warehouse, they've got a store. So using the store almost, you know, shipping from the store, for example, and using it in that way.
Yeah, and that helps, and that presents its own set of challenges. Because of the functionality there, the problems, it's a real hassle in many ways. But online retailers, apparel players most of whom have online presence, online is anywhere from 10 to 25% of the business. And so it's not like there's slouches in that area. But the bigger problem they all face is there's too many apparel retailers chasing too little apparel demand. So there's an imbalance of supply versus demand, which is why it's been phenomenally promotional. It's always promotional, but it's worse this year. And meanwhile, consumers are opting either for technology or for services that people have to pay every month. Everything from utility bill, cable, to Netflix.
Let's talk about technology, because I want to know whether the electronic toy business, the electronic business, iPads, iPhones, that's the stuff that's flying off the shelves?
Yes, in a sense, this has been very much a Hardlines Christmas. Now, in retail, Hardlines means consumer electronics, toys, home improvement. All those are hardline products. Small electrics. Soft lines are weaker this year. Apparel, parts of home are weak. The only strong part of apparel is twofold: it's performance wear, and then boots. It's a big boots year. But and on the consumer electronics side, this is the best year in 5 years, and it's led by whether TVs, right, new 4K TVs, whether it's laptops, whether it's smartphones, GoPros, a host of new products, and audio.
Headphones, Beats headphones.
Audio is one of the huge, both.
So we've seen this transfer, basically, of people's dollars that they have in their pockets. It could have gone to apparel, now going to electronics. You think back how many years ago, even a decade ago, maybe there just wasn't that much
Right. You
in
didn't have
the
the
way
choice.
of electronics, right, that you'd really want to be going out there and spending your money on. So,
And also the refresh cycle is different now, isn't it? I mean, you've got to buy this, and everybody has to be the newest thing, right?
People buy the new one. So it's not just technology, the physical product. There's a range of services that go along with it. First your cell phone plan, then your data plan, then your Netflix.
And then you got to watch
then your
Frozen.
cable bill. Well, don't get me started on that.
No, seriously,
Frozen.
Frozen. I mean, what kind of franchise is Frozen?
It's
the Disney movie.
The former franchising king was Lion King. This is 4X Lion King.
4X. This is like 4K TVs.
Well, so to speak.
Really? How much?
All
right. How many? Yes.
Do you know how? My gosh, we've got Frozen costumes, we've got Frozen nightgowns, we've got Frozen shoes,
huge.
we've got Frozen dolls. It is huge. I mean, and this is just in my house.
I was going to say, it's not just the girls, by the way. I have 2 little boys, and I mean, we don't have the dolls and the nightgowns, but they are also crazy.
You know, Corey Johnson is a big Frozen fan, right, Corey?
Huge fan, huge fan. I know that Trish was just telling you about her stuff. Her Frozen stuff as well.
Yeah.
Tricia's Frozen.
It is. Let me just say one thing. Let me say one thing in defense of Frozen. It is one good movie. It really is. And the songs are catchy. And I can understand why this was the hit it was. Go ahead.
Well, Corey's seen it 20 times.
At least, and not voluntarily, I might add. Yeah, hey, Craig, let me ask you, I want to ask you about sort of where we are in the cycle, because I think one of the interesting things about what's going on with the economic cycle tied to what we see in the consumer retail business is the profits aren't there in the ways that they have been in previous cycles. And I wonder, you know, I can speculate about sort of other types of competition or about sort of the discounting that comes out of the recession we just had, but why do you think we're not seeing profits when we are seeing, you know, an otherwise fairly strong economy in the U.S.?
Well, we are seeing profits in some sectors. Now, the consumer electronics is a good news, bad news situation. It's very strong top-line growth, some of the best top-line growth we've seen in 5 years in CE. But the profitability of CE has always been notoriously slow, except for Apple. And Apple has a premium. You see all sorts of TVs, electronics, everything else at big discounts, but you do not see Apple products at discounts. You want to buy the iPhone 6, particularly in the Plus model. First of all, if you can find it in a 64 or 128 gigabyte, that you're doing fine. But you will not find it at a discount. So some sectors are profitable. But apparel, you go in the apparel sector, because of the huge promotions, department stores are over-inventoried, clothing stores are over-inventoried, and we're going to have some real margin pressure there.